Welcome back, Attack. Today we're going to be talking about 2015's Best of for PC. We have a few different categories, but I want to address one thing. This is going to be wholly original content officially released this year. And I know we had a lot of localized games, remixes, and entirely re-released games. This year we also have a slew of games, almost like a majority of the new games coming out, that are kind of stuck in a pre-release limbo. But this list is only going to have officially released games. So, if you're ready to jump into some of the best gaming experiences, ever, that this year has at least had to offer us, well, right this way. We have 10 categories here for you today, with 3 of those being for future releases that can be played right now, or the first 7 are all about the best of the best that we can play currently right now in a released state. Best new client MMO for 2015. Best new browser MMO, 2015. Best new MOBA, 2015. The best expansion of 2015. Best overall free-to-play MMO, any release date. Best overall subscription MMO, any release date. Best boxed MMO, any release date. Then our final 3 based on the future. Most anticipated MMO. The best beta we played in 2015. And the best early access title available now. These are the categories. Let's see who won. Best new client MMO released in 2015. What could it be? Well, the truth is that there really is a lack of competition in this section right here. So we're gonna put one that actually probably would compete very well if anything else did really come out, actually released, instead of just being early access and etc. But we have Trove. Trove is a Minecraftian MMO, but very much more so on the MMO aspect. It's incredibly action-packed. Yes, there's crafting and building and it looks all blocky and silly, but this is one of those casual MMOs that's actually really fun just to jump on and grind in with some friends. Yeah, it is kind of grindy and there's no story to be had whatsoever, but the amount of creative control that you have with your different clan islands, the different fun little mini-games, that stupid blocky aesthetic just really allows the game to be incredibly action-packed and still very easily ran on pretty much any machine. It's one of the most fun, open, and accessible experiences out there. One of the very few fully realized in 2015. And now let's talk about the best new browser MMO games released this year, and oh my gosh, we were plagued by copyright infringement, auto-playing playable fables, and an uncountable amount of city builders. But I believe the most original absolutely succeeded this year, and that game is agar.io. Right, and in saying that, this game is ridiculous. I mean, you just play as like this little cell. It almost like kind of mimics or sort of metaphors the cellular level sort of like survival of the fittest germ warfare that's going on at the microscopic level. So you play as a circle and you get bigger by eating smaller circles, which most of the time are just little pebbles, little planktons. But if you're cunning enough, it'll be another player. It's pretty easy to jump into this game, not so easy to jump out. It's really addictive. But no, in all honesty, it's incredibly casual. But still, for those really hardcore players out there, getting that #1 spot, becoming the biggest orb possible, it's a dream, man. It's beautiful. Seriously, guys, agar.io is like one of the simplest ideas possible, but when you slap that into such a massively multiplayer space, that simplicity can quickly explode into chaos. It's just fun, man. Pure fun. So 2014 was kind of ridiculous with the number of MOBAs in production, but the truth is that many of those crashed and burned and have been shut down and canceled. The few that have made it to 2015 are just a portion of what was expected to be released this year. But regardless, the one game that stood above them all and still does is Heroes of the Storm. Now, it's a pretty simple reason why we picked Heroes of the Storm for Best New MOBA, and it's because it's the MOBA that did the most new things. Now, there are others that were really creative. Sometimes they could barely even be considered MOBA, but in the end, Heroes of the Storm is one that aesthetically looks very similar to usual MOBAs, but it actually ushered in an entirely new genre called the Brawler MOBA genre. It focuses entirely on team fighting like level 1, but at the same time, it breaches its own limits. It reaches out and it actually has a huge focus on sieging, split pushing, because of its very unique map mechanics. Abilities actually hurt towers. You can actually hire mercenaries to destroy towers or complete the objectives in order to turn into a giant dragon and siege castles, or get a pirate to shoot cannonballs at the enemy's base. And one of the charming factors of the game, other than, using Blizzard characters, is the fact that it's deceivingly complicated. It seems really simple at first, but there's a true depth laying underneath that surface. So all in all, it offers a really good time for entirely new players to the genre, and also those who are very competitively minded. Now for of the best expansion released in 2015. These expanded contents were all pretty freaking good of already established great games, but one of them rose above the others and hit the mark where the players really wanted it: Heaven's Ward for Final Fantasy XIV. So sometimes when an expansion comes out, they try to do entirely new things, okay? And sometimes the player base is just not cool with that. Sometimes they have a reason why they're playing that game, and they want to continue playing the game for those same reasons, so they just kind of want truly expanded content in that direction. Many expansions go off in weird, crazy directions, looking at you, Warlords Trainer, but Heaven's Ward Final Fantasy XIV gives the players that are already playing Final Fantasy XIV a reason to keep playing and to get new people to come in. They didn't do anything radical or crazy, just the pure polish and the amount of content that they are dishing out means Final Fantasy XIV is a great MMO period, but whenever this expansion hit, they only stacked the reasons why you should keep playing, progress through this game, and enjoy every inch of it. Best overall free-to-play MMO, any release date. Basically of all time, what's the most fun one to jump in right now, in competition with all the rest? And we decided that was Guild Wars 2. So Guild Wars always had a history as a buy-to-play game, but with Guild Wars 2, they decided to do something a little bit different, and they launched as free-to-play this year. And luckily, as a free-to-play game, you get the entire base experience, fully. All of the story, all of the esport, all of the dungeons, all of the arenas, and all that sweet, sweet loot. Guild Wars 2 just has like too much to offer new players. It's competitive, it's expansive, and the only fault really is that its expansion actually costs money. But more than any other MMO I've ever played, subscription, free-to-play or otherwise, the seasonal events are actually the most impactful in this game. You actually have freaking entire cities being destroyed, an episodic adventure that you can actually go back and replay anytime you want. And if you want a theme park MMO that actually feels like it's living and it's breathing, that game is Guild Wars 2. What is the best overall subscription MMO of any release date? Well, currently in 2015, it's World of Warcraft. But honestly, there's actually kind of a lack of competition in this genre. A lot of games are dropping to just boxed versions, or maybe they're going completely free to play, or they're doing some other weird scheme. But in the end, not many gamers are putting up with subscriptions. There's only a select few that are really worthy of that subscription status. And of course, World of Warcraft is one of them, still the most popular MMO in the world. Though we admit, yeah, the numbers are dropping, but still, in terms of just pure content, World of Warcraft has it covered. And even as dated as it is, it still has a lot of functionality to it. It's actually pretty action-packed compared to a lot of free-to-play titles. It's got an incredibly timeless and original art style, cute and colorful with character. And World of Warcraft does have a little bit of a story, it's kind of hidden beneath all the blues and the purples. But to those who are attached to the World of the Warcraft franchise, WoW is still expanding and exploring itself. So still, for some time to come, it looks like World of Warcraft is just gonna keep on going, being the juggernaut that it is. Best box MMO. Truth is that there's actually not too much competition in this genre as well. Many games, many MMOs are dropping to be free to play. However, there are a slew coming out next year, but for this year, the one that absolutely reigns supreme is Elder Scrolls Online. And one thing that makes a box MMO very attractive is that you can actually kind of play it like a single-player game. You pick it up, buy it, you don't have to continuously support the game, continuously play the game to actually, enjoy the game. So Elder Scrolls Online absolutely fits that bill, and not only just fits it and fills it, but defines that ideal. Elder Scrolls already has such a good single-player following. And with all the inspiration taken online, yes, it did lose a little bit of its love and magic, but for those who enjoy MMOs, and also who enjoy Elder Scrolls games, now you got an Elder Scrolls MMO. It is perfectly playable single player, but it also has massive PvP battles, your tried and true dungeons, but more than anything, it's got a huge level of polish. Voice acted, all the trimmings, everything you would expect in a box game, but it just also happens to be an MMO. In my opinion, it's got the best of both worlds. So in the end, it just completely stops the competition. Best box MMO, Elder Scrolls Online. What was the best beta of 2015? What was the most fun that we had in a beta this year? And 100%, there is no other game that even comes close to this, and that is Overwatch. Now, we know that it was an incredibly limited beta. Many of you, the majority of you, vast majority of you, did not get to play it, but wow, it is a really good game. It is so fun. The characters all have like this depth and complexity mechanically, strategically. There's so much to every single character, and they have such character too. There's like all this background story. You know, they're even gonna do like little shorts, little animated shorts on this game. Oh man, there's already so much merchandise being planned for it. I can feel it in the force. But seriously, there's a lot of games coming out in this genre that are almost mimicking Overwatch, but Overwatch is undoubtedly the king. It is going to spearhead the genre of character shooters, this new frontier that is the team objective shooters. And sure, Gigantic was a contender, but Overwatch just had such completion. I honestly felt like I was playing the already released game. So when it does finally launch, pretty sure Overwatch is going to be one of the most popular games of all time. 2015's best early access title. These are games that are probably not going to come out for like ever, you know, if they go on current trends, but they are playable now. You can purchase into them. They're just technically early access. So which one offers the most original experience, the best experience, and all in all seems like the most worthy early access game? Our pick is Ark Survival Evolved. Now, absolutely, this genre that is like early access, you know, survival games is exploding. It's huge. There's so many games to pick from, and there's actually a lot of them that are really good. But some of them have stayed in early access a little bit too long, and some of them haven't really evolved enough. But Ark Survival Evolved has the most evolution of the genre. I mean, it's freaking dinosaurs, man. But seriously, it just has the widest range of gameplay possible for, I think, the genre ever. Like, I mean, you got different technologies, wide variety of different technologies that you can equip and utilize. Base building, you can even like mount and tame dinosaurs, and of course you have the different dinosaurs, right? You have giant snakes and then freaking megalodons and shit, and of course the PvP is ever increasingly like complex because of it, right? You've got dudes with guns and spears, and then there's that one guy who's on the back of a scorpion wrecking everyone. Ark is it's a hoot and a holler. It can be good for really hardcore players, but I think it's also just fun casually. If you play it in early access, it's the best one, man. It's a good time. Most anticipated MMO, the most hype MMORPG, the massively multiplayer online game that we cannot wait to actually play. Black Desert. Now, Black Desert is already released and free to play in the rest of the world, but for us Westerners in Europe and America, we're gonna have to buy a boxed copy. This makes the game pay to play, but it's not pay to win, which is always good in a sandbox PvP-oriented MMO. But despite being a sandbox game, it has more action orientation than most action RPGs do. It's probably got the single best character creator anybody has ever seen, ever. And the world building, the mythology of Black Desert seems really interesting, very intriguing, mysterious. It's got those gorgeous, explosive visuals, knocked us off our feet. But when we played the beta, we saw the true depth of the game, the mechanics, the strategy, the tactics, and a little bit of the story too. It just sealed the deal. Black Desert is the most anticipated MMO. And finally, it seems that's all 2015 has to offer us. I know a lot of games just barely missed the release window for 2015, but there's a lot of games coming out that are really exciting to look forward to for 2016. So stay tuned, like and subscribe for those videos for upcoming games that we're so stoked, cannot wait to play. But that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. We had fun making the video, we had fun playing the games, and hopefully you do too. Please come back, Attack, and we'll see you again next time. Welcome back, Attack. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 free-to-play MMOs for this year, for 2015, and I think across all the genres for free-to-plays, we've seen so much innovation in MOBAs, in MMOs, in like card games. We've seen so many new things this past year, and hopefully, maybe, probably so, 2015 is going to be just as exciting.